variable can look like a letter or a word. A variable, though, cannot be a number. The variable name, such as in this example, the variable name is x. The variable name could be a word. So now my word is equal to 5. Or it could be a letter. But it cannot be a number because 2 in this case is not equal to 5. It has to only be a word or a letter. But this variable name can store anything inside it. It can store an integer or it can store a string. Same with these type of variable names. Your variable name can be a word, but inside of it, it can hold anything. It can hold a string or an integer. So a function would look like this one here up on the screen. Every single function will have this 3-letter word in front of whatever your function name is. So you pronounce this 3-letter word as def. Now, what does def mean? Well, def sounds a lot like definition, and that's exactly what it means. You are defining this function called adding. So my function name here is adding. Then I put a closed parentheses and a semicolon. So inside my adding function, I have a very simple command. It's your print command, and it will print what 1 plus 2 is, which is 3. So here I have a variable. My variable name is called my variable is called number, and it is holding the integer 5. And I also have a function. My function is called adding, and if I call this function adding, it will print the sum of 1 and 2. But how do I call this variable and function? Let's start with the variable. How do I call the variable? If I want to print the variable on the console, then simply I will have to use a print command, and inside of the parentheses I will have to put the name of my variable. Not the number that my variable is holding, but the name of my variable. If I hit run, it will give me the value that the variable is storing. Now, how do I call my function? A function will be a little bit similar, but a little bit different as well. To call a function, you will need to type the function name. So my function name is adding, and then I will have to put this closed parentheses. There will be nothing inside of the parentheses, like a print, but there will be nothing inside of these parentheses. So that is how I call my function adding. And if I run it, it gives me 5 and 3, because when I call this function adding, the computer will look up and it will see that we are defining this function, and it will see that this function is supposed to print the sum of 1 and 2. So now you know what are variables, what are functions, and how to call them.